Are you staring at your Airbnb calendar, wondering why it's not getting booked?
Today we're going to tell you the 5 reasons you're not getting booked and how to fix it.
Hi, I'm Sarah Karakayan.
And I'm Annette Grant. And together we are
Thanks for visiting.
We've been hosting for well over a decade, welcomed tens of thousands of guests, and earned thousands of 5-star reviews.
Our portfolio continues to bring in over $1.5 million year over year, and supported not only by the industry's leading brands, but also some of the biggest media outlets.
And we're here to help you with your furnished rental.
Reason number 1, poor photos.
Maybe terrible photos.
Here's the problem. First of all, I thought at this point in time, poor photos wouldn't be an issue anymore because it seems very obvious. And I'm not saying this to be sassy. I'm saying this because if you may not have an eye for what good photography is, to maybe question that. Maybe you looked at your photos and you think they're not that bad or that this isn't you, but maybe it is. And we just say this because we see new hosts every day as they come into our membership. We do one-on-one onboarding consultations. And one of the first things we do is look at their listings to see what we're working with. And time after time, the photos are not good. And we think that the host just doesn't realize they're too close to it and they don't realize it.
Or it's the last thing after you've purchased your home, you've purchased all the furniture in your home, and it's the last thing you want to invest in, but it should be the first thing you're thinking about investing in because that's how everyone books your property. They see the photos. That's your chance to sell why a guest should stay with you.
And it should invoke an emotion. Whatever emotion that is for you and your brand, the photo should tell that story. So first of all, if it's not evoking an emotion and it's very bland and standard, that's a big problem.
Low quality, just like let's talk about
Low quality is the next problem. Yeah, like grainy, or maybe you took it with your newest iPhone or your newest Android, but if you don't know how to work the settings, if you don't know how to work the lighting and the angles, you can have a great tool, but if you don't know how to use it, it's not going to translate in the photos.
Absolutely.
Low lighting. I'm here for moody, but if it's just poor lighting, that it's hard to see what it is, or it's just, again, it doesn't look inviting. And that's what I see more often than not. They are beautiful spaces, but but it just looks like blah.
And
like
it's standard like real estate photography too.
That's another problem.
Yeah, where it's like the angles are just kind of in each corner where, it's more of like you're going through Zillow looking at a house for sale versus an Airbnb overnight stay where you want the guest to feel each room, not just kind of see the size and imagine what their furniture could look like in it. So typical real estate photography is also what we see over and over again, and that is not how you sell your property on Airbnb.
Because think about it, with the Zillow photography, a buyer has an opportunity to then book a showing with their agent. You don't have that with short-term rentals. Like, this has to be the thing that converts them. So the standard photography doesn't share with them like the different angles of the cozy bed, or like we like to show what's inside the cabinets in our kitchen so people can see like we are fully stocked, down to how to use an amenity. Maybe your property is higher end or you want to really show off those amenities. Maybe a photo of someone using it and how they enjoy it could make it better. And we'll get into the fixes here in a minute, but really just that standard, low quality, boring, unprofessional photography is a big problem we see, and it's still a problem that we see today. Here's how to fix photography. Hire a great photographer. And not just any photographer. We really recommend a photographer who understands short-term rental photography. And then for you to understand that just because they're a great photographer, every artist, whether it's an interior designer or a photographer or a videographer, they have their own vibe and style. So if you want to invoke a certain mood or brightness or fun or whatever that thing is that you want to invoke in your photos, to find a photographer who that's their natural skill set.
And they're gonna work alongside you. You're gonna be able to co-create. You're gonna wanna have that shot list. But really the fix is basic here, is hire a professional to get those professional photos that are gonna help you sell your property faster.
TFB pro tip. All right, so you got great photography, but now you have to structure it in a way on your listing that is going to take that potential guest, they haven't booked you yet, on a tour of your property. So what are some best practices
you
there?
want to be strategic here. I mean, the best practice number 1 is that hero image. It is the first one that they see, has to be the best photo that you have. And when I say best photo, it's like what is going to have the guest draw them in the fastest, or have them want to even look further at your photos. And those first 5 are, after the first one, the first 5 are all important. And you kind of do want to take them on a quick tour and kind of, again, give them those 1-2 punches of the best places in your house. And the way that you can do this too is look at your past reviews. What are people raving about? Make sure those first 5 are really crushing it for you so they can get a quick taste of exactly what you have to offer.
A little addition on that is once you pick those first 5 photos, you sometimes need to change them, okay? So the hero image, that first image that you pick, should be good for your booking window, okay? So if guests are booking 30 days out, let's give you some hard facts here. Let's say it is June 1st. You have a 30-day booking window. That means people by June 1st are probably booking for July 1st, maybe the first couple weeks in July. Let's just make something up. That means you want that first image to be something that someone who books in July, who comes to stay with you in July, is going to care about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe there are other places that have a longer booking window. There are people who, get booked 3 months out, 6 months out. You really have to be on top of the change of the season or the change of the amenity that's going to be at top of mind for that guest who's actually going to stay at that point in time.
Exactly. For instance, like I see people when I'm trying to book in the summer, I'll still see their like photos from the winter and it's snowy out. And I'm like, that was probably cool in the winter, but I'm coming now for like, summer hiking. You really do need to stay on top of it and not be like asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
We could go on and on all day about photo mistakes, but lucky you, we made a video specifically about photo mistakes, so make sure you check that out after this video. Reason number 2, generic or confusing listing titles. The problem, you're using these generic, cozy cabin, downtown apartment. What does that even mean? That means nothing to the guest at all. That is not helping them understand your property and what you have to offer.
Well, it's not allowing you the opportunity to be creative either. Another problem I see is like, let's say to you internally, it's apartment.
Oh, when they have the address.
42C is at the beginning or the end of the title.
What is that?
Yeah, but like downtown apartment, first of all, they've probably already searched an apartment or the fact that they're downtown. So you're just reiterating something that they've already filtered.
Right, or like 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It's like they know that. They've put that in, like they're already looking like for those options.
This is an opportunity, just like we talked about your hero image and problem and reason number 1 with the photos. The title should, again, draw them in. It should be interesting, but not hard to decode. And you need to change it to draw in the guest who is booking at that time for when their stay is going to be, right? Like you could even do it, maybe that's a big event in your town and you're still available because you should never be the first one booked for a big event. And maybe your title is availability for the Taylor Swift concert. You know what I mean? Like you could talk to that potential guest to get them to click on your listing and find out more.
Yeah, this is like basic marketing. This is the hook.
Yes.
This is how you're hooking that booking. Ooh, okay, that's a new one. But that's what you have to think about. You really do. We just had our photography hat on. Now we got to put on this marketing and copy. All right, this whole video is about marketing, but this is your time. That copy matters, and each word matters here.
All right, let's get you some helpful fixes.
Yeah, there's
for
good
this
news.
problem.
It's easy fix.
Yes, it is going to take you to think. Okay, so you got to think about your community, your listing, what makes a guest want to stay during that time that you're actually trying to hook them to book you. Going back to Annette's really great little quip
Hook them
there.
and book them.
So you got to think, and then think about the different words that could be overused. So what are some like overused, and we're going to give you a pro tip here in just a moment, but adjectives matter and words matter. You don't want to be using the same words and phrases that your competitors are using, because then it's just going to like, what can you say to your potential guest that'll get them to stop and actually want to know more
And stand out from the others.
Yeah.
TFE pro tip.
All right, you're going to love this one. If you've not started using ChatGPT or a ChatGPT-like engine for your Airbnb business, your hosting business, you need to start. Here's this trick. You are going to go into Airbnb in the map area, go into your area, or type in the search, Columbus, Ohio, wherever your listing is, and try to find the neighborhood so you can see where your other competitors are, and you would also pop up. And you're going to go to all those listings, and you're going to highlight their titles, and then copy and paste it over to the ChatGPT chat area, okay? So copy as many as you can. I mean, there really is no limit. You want at least 10 to 15. Like on that first page of search results, find all those listing titles. Copy and paste them into ChatGPT chat, and then before you press send, you're gonna say, analyze these titles and come up with titles for my Airbnb listing that would be different. And then you're going to share what is special about your Airbnb during that time frame. So you could say things that might be interesting to someone in the title would be that we have a fireplace, that we have king size beds,
Yeah,
that
those key amenities that guests come back for again and
chef's
again.
kitchen, or that like they love how clean it is, and give ChatGPT a bunch of different options to pick from, and then tell them it has to be 50 characters or less because that is the limitation that Airbnb gives you, and then press send.
And then let the magic work. Let the AI do its work.
It's going to give you all these titles, and then what you can do is, and this is we're going to get into at the end here, but save this work. You could in ChatGPT you can save these chats, so you can come back to it and get ones for the winter time, ones for the fall time. But also you can also change your title a few times throughout the summer, right? Keep it fresh, keep it interesting. Airbnb, I don't mind this hack of like changing your listing and making updates to it. It's not going to like make you thousands of dollars just because you're giving your listing a pulse, but it's also not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's never a bad thing.
It can't hurt your listing to do that. But you got to try this tip out. You'll be amazed, and it'll really help you not stress about having to be creative if you're like me and I'm like, that's not where my brain goes. Let ChatGPT do that work for you.
So do this work today. Take 5-10 minutes, exactly what Sarah just said. Use ChatGPT and update your title.
Reason number 3, weak listing descriptions. So here's the fix. Take your own behavior, for example, even just like scrolling YouTube, right? Like your attention is like, you gotta be like, your attention has to be grabbed. So now we're trying to use words, and people read less these days. So you want to make it when they go on your Airbnb listing or your verbal listing or your direct booking listing, right? They can see in a snapshot the important stuff. So clear things they actually care about, and using what we call the bullet point method is a great way for someone who doesn't have a lot of time. They're seeing as many properties as they can so they can make a decision, actually stop and get the full picture.
Yeah, it's like that bite-sized snapshot. Boom, you got to hit them with it.
Yeah. And here's the thing, I know you love your listing and I know you want to have all this fluffy words and there's this like romantic aspect if you're a good writer, but I'm telling you, if it's like all these run-on paragraphs close together, things that don't matter to the guest who has no time at all, you're going to lose them. So we see that a lot. We call it above the fold, that area on the Airbnb listing before you have to press show more.
You get 5 lines.
You get 6 lines.
You 6? Okay.
Yeah, you get 6 lines. Yeah, but people waste that space.
And they'll like put a space. And we're gonna give you some samples here.
Yeah.
So you can do this work today and create yours.
See what we find converts people well to see it into actually booking the place. And then when you go into the description, we love it when you can have like break down the room. So in the kitchen, and we like to capitalize the word kitchen, and then we have bullet points of the things that actually matter in that kitchen. And then we have bedroom number 1, queen bed. Here's the kind of mattress it is. And again, boom, bullet points. So it's not all this words that's like hard, all these words that are hard to decipher.
And you help the person booking. Like, I need help with my vision. My eyes are getting older. And like, the more you can help me like break it down and make it easy to read, okay? Make it digestible. So that's why those bullet points are important too. I got to read things quick and they need to be easy on the eyes.
TFE pro tip.
The listing description also is an excellent place for you to get across how close you are to certain things. For instance, if you are 25 steps from the beach, let them know you are 25 steps. If you are 7 minutes to the national park, tell them that exact 7 minutes. You'll get a lot of questions about how close are you to this? How far is it to this? As like granular as you can get and more enticing there, dig in there and let them know. Or even, let's say it's maybe you do have to get a car service like an Uber or a Lyft. Let them know what the usual like time and pricing is. It really is helpful for your guests and letting them know what transportation is available. But that is a like hot tip, and if you don't have that there, you're going to be answering those questions. Reason number 4, there is no pricing strategy. And here's the problem. Your pricing is not taking into account seasonal demand. What's your competitor data? Also, like, what are the market trends? Do you even have a strategy? Or you're set it and forget it. I mean, I know back in the day when I didn't even know about dynamic pricing, I didn't even know about pricing strategy, what an ADR was. I was setting my pricing. Monday through Thursday was this price, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, another price. And it was like, literally, it didn't matter what month it was, what was going on in town, but I quickly learned I was leaving a lot of money on the table, and this is where you should be spending a lot of your time.
Right, with the longevity of Airbnb and short-term rentals now, and it's understood that it's an option for travelers, there are more professional hosts out there. And so if you're coming to us right now as a newer host, if you are not leveraging dynamic pricing, you are, like Annette said, like when I say a lot of money, I'm talking thousands and thousands of dollars, because they're able to take a market share. They're using a software that tells them when a guest is willing to pay more. And you might think that you have the pulse on your community, but I'm telling you, there's no way you can have it as quickly or as nuanced as software can.
Absolutely.
For example, like I could, even if I had on Google search events in Columbus, Ohio, I might see an event like this game convention at our expo center and think like, okay, a game.
Nobody's coming to
like,
that.
no one's coming to play board games. And if they are, like, it's not that many people.
No, it sells out the whole city for like a week too. It's not like a little like one night concert. These people are no joke. They come in. We love these gamers.
How did I find this out? Well, I was like, why is my dynamic pricing software having my price surge during this time? And I'm seeing that there's this event. I'm like, I never would have thought. And then I'm talking to Annette, who's been in Columbus for years, and I just moved here. And she's like, oh, Sarah, it's a huge event. Is like deep. So I'm saying to you is like, you have to get humble with your pricing and know that you don't know it all. You can't possibly know it all. And you won't be quick to change your pricing at the time when when guests are on average looking to book the place for that event. Software knows that before we will.
And what's very interesting, like again, way back in the day when I was trying to set my pricing, I did have the wherewithal to go on to the hotels that were close to my property. And I was like sitting there like dazed and confused because their pricing to me made no sense. Because I would look at like this random month in March and one night would be, $100 and the next night would be $350. And I would try to mirror that. And that's what the dynamic pricing is doing. It is scraping all of the information from everywhere. Like there's no possible way that you could do this, but if you want to today, go on, like look at your local hotels, look at your other competitors, but you gotta have that dynamic pricing.
Okay, so the problem is you don't have dynamic pricing and your competitors are making way more money than you are. The fix is to use dynamic pricing software. So people ask us all the time, Sarah and Annette, I have one property. I don't have a lot of money to invest in software. There's so much software out there. What should I use? And our go-to response is dynamic pricing software is the thing that you should invest in if you're new and have one property, because it's the one software that is directly related with very little effort to you making more money. The fix is dynamic pricing software. The fix is also not using Airbnb's smart pricing. You have to remember who benefits from that. It is Airbnb who benefits from their smart pricing tool. Their benefit is just getting booked. They don't really care at what price you get it at. They want to stay booked. That's their goal.
For sure.
So the dynamic pricing software is a third party that it has no affiliation to the OTAs. And by OTA, I mean Vrbo, Airbnb, Booking.com, wherever you're listed.
And we'll link below to the dynamic pricing software that we use.
It is a little bit of a learning curve, all right?
But it's worth it.
It is worth it. And the whole event thing is icing on the cake. The real advantage of the dynamic pricing software is for you to understand what your competitors are making, what your market's making, and are you taking your fair share of your market? Because if you're not, it will tell you, and then you've got to figure out why. It could be your pricing. It could be all the other mistakes, the reasons we've gone over so far, your photos, your description, your title. It could be a myriad of reasons, but you got to know that you are not taking your fair share of the market, and that's the information you can get from your dynamic pricing software.
So get excited. You need to do this work today. Go to the dynamic pricing software and see where you're falling in the market. This might be why you're not getting booked. Are you competitively priced? Are you even pricing right?
Here's the cool thing. A lot of the dynamic pricing software options out there have free trials. So
no brainer.
No brainer. Connect your property, and even if you're not open yet, or if you haven't been open for a while, I guarantee you there are short-term rentals around you that have. So there's plenty of historical data there for you to leverage and have a starting point for your property. Reason number 5, lack of reviews or poor reviews. So you have one of two problems. Either you don't have enough reviews, and that could be because you're new, or you feel like guests never leave you a review, and we're gonna tackle that. Or you have too many poor reviews. Even if you've got a nice mix of positive reviews, if you've got poor reviews and it's because you're not willing to listen to guest feedback, or there's some issue with your property or your listing that you just haven't tackled yet, now is the time to prioritize that, because if you're leveraging OTAs to bring in your leads, your potential guests, and then you need to convert them to book. I'm kind of talking in business speak here because I want to have you think like a business owner. You've got to focus on improving your reviews or getting more of them. They will tank your rank. You will show up on page 2, 3, 4, 10, 15, 20 if your reviews are not in order, all right? And so it's really tough. I actually just talked to a newer host. It's really tough when you do get a review. She got a 4-star review, one of her first 3 reviews from her first 3 guests, and it had nothing to do with her property. There was some issue out on the street, and there was a lot of noise late at night. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't in a bad neighborhood. There was just some sort of situation at night, and the guests didn't get sleep. And listen, I'm not saying that doesn't stink, but there's some things that we're gonna get into the fix here and how to fix it. But I just wanted to emphasize. And I wanted to
Go to a convention?
Go to a convention. I wanted to share with you that I understand how you feel and that it is frustrating, but we can take ownership. We can put things in place to fix it.
And you can make a comeback from it.
And you can make a comeback from it. All right, let's give you all of our review secrets.
Let's fix this.
Let's fix it. All right, so if you have few reviews and you are a new host, this is your sign to prioritize getting great reviews. Sometimes you have to ask for what you want.
Gotta be proactive.
So I've seen hosts do so many things. I've seen hosts have these really cute magnets, like they're really small, cute magnets on the fridge that explains to a guest how important the review is and what the different star levels mean in Airbnb culture.
Right.
It's a really nice, subtle way to ask for that review and to educate.
Just remind them, yeah.
So while they're having a good time, a lot of times guests want to be able to repay you. Obviously, they've paid for their stay, but show you. And so having that little, whether it's a little note on how important the review is, we have messages that go out.
Yeah, you want to start sprinkling the review in throughout all of your messaging so they know how important that 5-star review is to your business.
Yeah, and you can say, I found that sharing with them and reminding them that you're not this big conglomerate, it's not necessarily an Airbnb review like for the big company.
Right.
Your guest feedback on my small family business means so much to us. So if you're enjoying your stay, please consider leaving us a 5-star review and share with us a few reasons what you love the most. If you have constructive feedback, we would love for you to share that with us in private, resting assured that we would make our first priority on fixing anything that is below your standards for your stay. That is a really lovely way. Now, whether you message that to them via an automated message, whether that's like Annette said, sprinkled throughout their stay in your guest a digital guidebook, your guest printed guidebook, that little magnet we talked about, like whatever that is.
You've got to ask for it. I've had so many hosts ask me before, like they feel like it's sleazy to request the review. It is not at all. And Airbnb is going to ask them to leave a review anyway. So coming from you and letting them know the importance of it, I think actually is a nice personal touch. And I guarantee after this video today, just start everywhere you shop, everywhere you, basically any store you go into, online or physical location, you're gonna see they're asking for a review.
Yeah.
It's so important to all of our businesses. Every single business out there, the reviews matter because that's the trust.
Think about that. Next time you go to a store, actually, I was just at the grocery store, and right before I leave, it's this big chalkboard. It's really pretty, and it has a QR code where I could leave them a review. So everyone does it because it works, and it's important. If you have poor reviews, here's what you can do. Remember when we talked about that ChatGPT trick on your listing title? Go to your Airbnb listing, and I want you to copy all of your reviews. Like keep scrolling, copy, or if you need to do it in sections, copy all of your reviews. Paste it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to pull out the complaints from those reviews for you. And then make a little to-do list for yourself on fixing them.
I do want to just dig in there a little bit. If you are getting like what might seem like just one complaint, I guarantee you other guests have had the same experience. They just didn't take the time to share it with you. So don't ever take just one complaint as, oh, no big deal. There's other people that probably experienced it and obviously other people in their party, but you really need to take those serious and fix them ASAP.
In addition to this, if you're not already responding to all of your reviews,
say that again though, because this was something I learned so long ago and it was so important.
you have to respond as the host to all of the reviews.
Good or bad?
Good or bad?
All of them.
All of them. Especially the bad, but good too. Here's why. When you respond, and you're not responding to the person who left it. This is not your opportunity to like vent. It's not your opportunity to really stick it to the person who left you a 4-star review because it was something happened that was out of your control, like literally out of your home, not your fault. This is your opportunity to speak to that potential booker who is undoubtedly reading all of your reviews, especially your most recent ones, or maybe they're clicking like I do. I'll click on, you know how it says 5-star, 4 stars, 3s, 2, and 1. I can click on like, I want to see all the 5s and I want to see all the 1s. Or maybe you're like me and I've got like a couple 3 stars. You better believe that I have a response to those 3-star reviews that is professional, that is constructive, and that is humble.
And,
all right?
and it helps, you're selling that next guest in your response. So like Sarah just said, if there was something, for instance, that needed to be fixed, letting that, obviously in the review, letting them know that was fixed on XYZ date. That
Yes,
way,
dating it too.
your next guest knows, they took care of it. So, because the guests that checked out, like, they're gone, they don't care. But that is so important to let your future guests know that whatever that concern is has been remedied. So you are selling your future guest in those guest reviews. And same thing with the great reviews. Call out what was awesome. If they said that was the best night's sleep ever because awesome mattress, say it again. Like, so glad you like the mattress. We chose it just, for all of our guests. Like, we want them to have the best night's stay. So reiterate the good stuff too.
And you just give me an idea. So the guest who left you the poor review, responding to that review publicly is for your future guest. But this is a really good opportunity for you to reach out to that guest, even if they were a little sassy in their response. I would message them and I would take the high road and I would thank them for that constructive feedback and that you did respond to it publicly because you want future guests to know how much that feedback means to you and how you're on top of it. And just let them know that you're thanking them for it. You could even say in the future, if you stay with us again, which we would, if you would love to have them come back, obviously if they weren't a good guest, you wouldn't say this, but that to show them that you've made changes to address it. And if they would have any other private feedback for you, because now they've left the review, they can't, adjust it. This is like subconsciously teaching them that when they stay with another one of us, and by us, I mean Airbnb hosts, that they can let us know that stuff privately.
Right.
So that we can fix it and have it not affect our listing like it does. Obviously, I'm actually really happy when guests who have terrible hosts they stay with are public in their reviews. And this also goes back to if they weren't great guests, that you have the permission to also leave an honest public review. So reviews, this whole platform is built on trust, and you need to take these reviews and put them the importance on it that it deserves. If you want to dive deeper into reviews because it deserves your focus and making sure that you are as educated as you can be on reviews, we have a video all about reviews, how to maximize them, and how to be strategic with them.
So you can't just boo-hoo that your Airbnb isn't getting booked. You've got to do the work. So we're gonna stop the boo-hooing and we're gonna get to work. And the work doesn't end. This isn't set it and forget it. Like, you're gonna do this work and then we're gonna do this work again. But the good news is you're gonna get better and better. It's gonna get easier over time. And hopefully you're gonna continue to get awesome reviews. And the algorithm is gonna start to reward you for all of this work that you're doing too. And your guest reviews are gonna boost you up. But I'm telling you, you have to put this in your calendar. You've gotta make these changes and you have to put the work in.
Dive a little bit, Annette, into putting it in your calendar. Like, what do you mean by that?
Like if it's not in your calendar, or if it's not in my calendar, it's not happening. So put it in there once a month, take a look at your photos and just put it as reoccurring each month. And maybe it's just your overall listing. It's once every 30 days, you go in and tweak something, zhuzh the photos, move them around. Look at what your most recent reviews are. I mean, that's what the guests are saying about your property right now. So go in and infuse that in your title or your listing description, but calendar it. Just have it as a reoccurring meeting, like your Airbnb refresh monthly, and just have it on there and you know it's gonna happen.
In that calendar description, you could put our five tips we did. You can even link to this video. So if you want to come back to this, you can do that every time that it pops up in your calendar until you get in the habit of all the things that you need to look out for. But I love that. I love that thought.
Yeah, and think over the course of the year, all of your revenue, this is your marketing to get clients. It is your listing. So you need to go in and do this work. So that's kind of like that mindset shift that has to take place. Like, think about your overall revenue for the year. And this time to work on this pales in comparison to hopefully all of the money you're making over the year. So check out the next video all about getting 5-star reviews.
And with that, I am Sarah Karakayan.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are
Thanks for visiting. Talk to you next time.